Okay, here we are today, dividing by multiples of 10. So our divisors are always going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or 90. Our question starts, this year a group of 249 students are taking a field trip, and they need one bus for every 20 students. Typically, doesn't a bus fit a lot more kids than that? Yeah, so this town must have really little buses. So they want to know how many buses are we actually going to need? Well, what operation would we use to find this, America? We would divide, correct. So we could divide the number of kids total by the number that are going to fit in each bus. Now, if we want to try to find an estimate like we did yesterday, we could use compatible numbers to decide about what our answer should be. So 249 is pretty close to what? 250, yep. Except when we count by 20s, I'm never going to hit 250. I would hit 240 or 260. Which one do you guys want to go with? 240, you say? Wonderful. Well, 240 divided by 20, let's ignore the zeros. What would we get for an answer?
24 divided by 2.
Is 12, yeah. So our answer should be about 12. Now that's an estimate. Now we can actually start our problem. We think the answer is going to be about 12. So to find the exact answer, we write it out. We divide, 20 does not go into 2, but it does go into 24. We multiply, we subtract, we bring down. And we check, is it okay? So we move on and we bring down our 9. How many 20s are there in 49? There's 2 of them. We multiply, we subtract, we bring down, or we check. And we're going to actually have now some kids left over. So how many buses do we actually need, Darius? Yeah, we're going to need 13 because we can't tie those kids up and pull them behind the other buses, right? And we can't make them run to the field trip. So we're going to have to get another bus. So today, this is what we're working on. We are going to have problems that look like this. Now we're going to do a few together. How many 30s go into 3? None. How many go into 34? 1 times 30 is?
30.
When I subtract, is that okay? Okay. What do I bring down, Brendan? I bring down my 5. Alexis, how many 30s are there in 45? Just 1. 1 times 30, again, is 30. When I subtract, can anybody do that in their head? Aaron? Is it okay to have 15 as a remainder? Just to remind you, remainders go off the edge. They do not fit here on the line. Those are our leftovers. Okay? Did you have a question back there, Will? Absolutely. If your remainder is higher than your divisor, you know it's wrong. Let's try this one. 20 goes into 2? Nope. Kaylin, how many 20s go into 28? I mean, Kiara. 1 times 20 is? Somebody subtract for me. Is it okay? Yep. How many 20s are there in 82? I've heard 2, 40, and 4. Okay, because 4 times 20 is 80. What's our remainder? 2. Is that okay to have for a remainder? Okay, you're probably thinking, oh boy, this is so easy. I don't even think I need to do this. Well, I also want to show you every once in a while you're going to have easy problems like the 2 we just did. But they, of course, are going to get harder. Somebody from my class said, hey, I really like that other strategy that we learned the other day. Can I do it with this? Sure, you can. How many 20s are in 2? None. How many are in 28? 1. What's left over? 8. How many 20s are in 82? 4. Left over 2. You can do that. But not all these problems are going to be quite this easy. So it makes it a little more complicated. For example, there are some that when you subtract, you have double digits, like 23. Well then, You have to write a little 23 here, 232. So be careful. If it doesn't work for you to do that alternative strategy, then don't use it. Okay, harder. How many 50s go into 4? How many go into 46? Oh, how many go into 467? You can count by 50s. I like that, Aiden. That's a smart idea. Or you can cover up one digit in both. How many 5s go into 46? Well, 9 times 50 is, remember, what's 9 times 5? With a 0. Is that okay? Sure. Okay. There's an idea. Okay, let's try a couple more before you guys get to start rolling here. 60. Sky, how many 60s go into 8? How many 60s do you see in this number? How many 60s do you see? None. There are no 60s in the number 8. How many 60s are in the number 84? Natasha? One of them. 1 times 60 is 60. I subtract and I get 24, which is okay. Now, how many 60s are in 241? Yeah, it is. So here's an idea. If you don't know how to do this, cover up your 1, cover up your 0. How many 6s are in 24? Okay, thank you, Darius. Now what's 4 times 60? 240. Don't forget the 0. And you have a remainder of little old 1. All right, you guys ready to try some of these? Please open up your iPads. Okay, our first practice problem is 30 as our divisor. 426 is our dividend. Go ahead. You forgot to put something up top, Eileen. Oh, okay. There you go. Emma, get working. I have some done and some who have barely started writing their problem. We need to move a little bit quicker, 5th graders. Okay, today's secret password is chicken noodle. We make a long story short, we talked in my class about how I never have soup in the summertime. It's kind of a winter thing for me. And now that it's getting colder, I like my soup. So when you say I'm going to have soup, do you say I eat soup or drink soup?
Drink soup.
Well, one of my students said if it's tomato soup, then I drink it. But if it has chunks in it of anything, then I eat it.
You eat the noodles and you drink.
I'm just saying. Okay, so the first couple we'll go through together. How many 30s are in 4? None. How many are in 42? 1 times 30 is 30. Subtract. That's okay. Bring down. How many 30s are in 126? This is where everybody seems to get stumped. If you are stumped, then you can always cover up a digit. What do you think? Let's see. Aaron. 4. 4 times 30 is 120. When we subtract, we get a leftover of 6. Chicken noodle. Please do not erase your board or delete your board until you've heard the password. Okay, good work. Moving on. Next problem. Here we go. 749 divided by 30. Emma, cover up the 0. So 2 times 3. All right. It's okay if you're not quite done. Who would like to talk me through this problem from start to finish? Aaron. Yeah. 30 does go into 74 twice. 2 times 30 is 60. Looks good. Yep. Check it and it'll work. Bring down the 9 now. Yeah, we could try 5, but if we tried 5, we'd get 150. And that's not going to work. So 4. 4 times 30 is? Wow, you've got a huge remainder, don't you? The remainder is 29, and that's okay because it's less than our divisor. Do you know that you guys could have a remainder of 98 as long as this number is 99? Yeah, it's true. You can have huge remainders just like this. Check your work, chicken noodle. Okay, next time lower it a little bit so you, both you guys, so that you can see your answer up there. You too, Darius. Good work, everybody. Okay, now let's try one that's a little bit tougher. A little bit tougher here. Yeah, praise. Kaden, will you talk me through this problem? It does not go into 4. It does not go into 42, but did you cover up your last 2 digits? Okay, 7 times, she says. 7 times 60. Okay, now for those of you who don't know how to do that in your head, cover up the 0. 7 times 6 is 42. Then put the 0 back in. With leftover of what, Kaden? There it is. Easy peasy, right? Okay, let's try another one like that. $80 is our divisor. $239 is our dividend. How many 80s are in 2? Sarah? 0. How many are in 23? 0. Sam W., how many are in 239? 2. Yeah, it's too bad because it's too bad that it's not just one more because then we could have used a 3, right? Yeah, darn it. 2 times 80 is?